Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you tonight with the WWE Monday Night Raw live report for July 27th, 2015. It's going to be a good one. We're on the road to SummerSlam. We've already got one of the big matches named, an Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. More than likely, both of those guys will not be appearing on Monday Night Raw live tonight after their big brawl and Brock Lesnar's arrest taking him out of the arena. But Monday Night Raw opens with the Authority, as it always does, coming down to the ring with a big party, talking all about the big SummerSlam event coming that's now going to be 4 hours, treating this just like a WrestleMania event. Hopefully they have a good enough undercard to really support this, but Undertaker versus Brock is a main event, and then here we are setting up the co-main event of John Cena versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. Should also be going down as well. Basically, Rollins is out there calling himself the best champion of all time, and he's come down and answered by John Cena, who comes down to basically tell Seth Rollins that he believes that he is the joke. And somehow they get to talking about having a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match live on Monday Night Raw, live tonight. Cena versus Rollins. Stephanie steps in and says that John Cena has done nothing to earn himself a championship shot live on Raw tonight, so that is basically shot down. But Triple H steps in and says that Rollins would be answering Cena's United States Open Challenge for Monday Night Raw live tonight, setting up a big Cena versus Rollins main event. This is a big deal. This is going to be a good one. Of course, this is going to be setting up SummerSlam, where more than likely the World Heavyweight Championship will be involved, since that is the one belt that people really do care about. But maybe they will be doing a double gimmick where both belts will be on the line tonight, because Rollins sure did seem to think that he was going to win himself the United States Championship tonight. When it comes down to it, in this Cena versus Rollins match, I'm thinking that more than likely this is going to be some sort of a DQ finish, seeing how, basically we're trying to get to SummerSlam, and Rollins having both championships, having to defend them, keeping the United States Championship Open Challenge alive on SmackDown and Monday Night Raw next week, and everything to get down to it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Cena really has this goal that Daniel Bryan talked about. We've also known about this. Daniel Bryan talked about it on the Cheap Heat podcast, of basically saying that they are trying to find ways to inspire guys to, keep pushing, even though that, they get pigeonholed as these, mid-card guys, and it's hard for them to build to try and become better, superstars, having better matches, by having these open challenge matches. Of course, that's why Daniel Bryan won the IC belt, and that's why John Cena won the United States Championship belt at WrestleMania 31. Since then, they've been going week in and week out until Daniel Bryan's injury pulled him. But we've seen Cena have great matches, building up Cesaro and Owens, gave Stardust a few runs for his money as well. But tonight's going to be a good one. This is a great main event that's really going to put some butts in the seats. Cena versus Rollins, two of the best in the game going today. This is probably going to have some sort of a screwy finish, but I'm guessing that WWE is trying to bring in big numbers, knowing that big numbers mean better things for the WWE Network and SummerSlam 2015. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you once again tonight on Monday Night Raw here with July 27th edition of 2015 on the road to SummerSlam. The Divas have shown us this Diva Revolution is for real. We go into having a one-on-one match. First time ever seeing this on WWE Monday Night Raw. Sasha Banks versus Paige, one-on-one. This is Team Bad going up against the... I don't even know if it's, I call them Team Paige. Some people call them Team Revolution. But it comes down to basically all three girls. You have Charlotte, you've got Paige, you've got Becky Lynch. They come down, they get in the ring. They're all wearing the matching t-shirts. Some have it cut in different ways. Paige's new shirt just says, "This is my house." I would think of this more as a Paige shirt than anybody else, but my guess is that all three girls, there's already the Team Bella's shirt, and the Paige's team will have their own shirt, and then Team Bad will have their own shirt for anybody who wants to pick that up. But you've definitely seen that Paige is the leader of her clique. Definitely Sasha Banks has taken that role of stepping out and becoming the leader of Team Bad. And then I guess Team Bella, Nikki and Brie have the exact same amount of power on their team. But you can see who the leaders are and who the followers. Definitely Becky Lynch and Charlotte are looking for a place to push out and move on. Tamina will always be Tamina. Naomi has a lot of talent in WWE. She's a really good athlete, so I'm thinking that more than likely she's going to get her chance come sooner or later. But a really good match, pushing up SummerSlam, pushing up the NXT show. We're definitely in Brooklyn. Sasha Banks will be defending her NXT Women's Championship match. But this one, starts off with both ladies inside of the ring. Paige versus Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks go to kick Paige right in the gut. Paige is able to catch the boot, sort of showing that she's seen Sasha wrestle before. I'm not sure if they've had matches in NXT, because I think when Paige was there being the NXT champion, I think Sasha was still in a role of her group where she was still on the way up. She was, it's sort of a lackey of the team with, I believe it was Charlotte, Sasha, and Summer Rae were all together before they kicked Summer Rae out. She got moved up to the main roster, and then from there, Sasha Banks started to become more of an important role to NXT, now being the NXT Women's Champion. But Paige, we don't see her take flight in a lot of her matches tonight, but she went up to the top rope and she came down on top of all three members of Team Bad with a pretty cool aerial move that she was able to hit. But definitely Sasha Banks and Paige are two of the best women in the Divas division that are really going to be setting the tone for what these matches are to come for women's wrestling. And this was really, really fun match. Definitely really, really good stuff. But it was fun seeing Sasha Banks even steal Paige's taunt. She had Paige beat down on the inside of the ring. Sasha sort of took a second to taunt on the outside, yelling out, "This is my house now." And definitely from there, Paige was able to get some of the momentum back into this match. There was a really cool spot where Paige threw Sasha into the corner, and then Paige came into the corner trying to hit her with some offensive move, but Sasha was able to counter it by jumping from the floor to the top rope, wrapping her legs around Paige, and then basically throwing Paige's head into the second belt buckle. But really, really fun match here with Sasha Banks hitting the bake statement, making Paige tap out right there in the middle of the ring. I know that this is early in her career, but definitely this is a big exclamation point to show what she means to Team Bad. Definitely Naomi and Tamina were both sort of outcasts after their match in the three-way. Sort of people blamed it on Tamina for the match, or not Tamina, but on Naomi for the match not being that good, and they definitely were kicked out of the title picture. So Sasha Banks taking a step forward, even though she is still the NXT Women's Champion, to being in a spot where she can be put in main event matches. Her versus Paige was a damn good match, and it'd be really fun to see where this goes in the foreseeable future with them. Hey, what up everybody? This is one of those matches that really gets you excited, and glad that you're watching WWE Monday Night Raw. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for the first time here tonight, July 27th, as we're watching, counting down until SummerSlam. Lots of ways this can really get brought into it, but honestly, right off the bat, it sort of tips your hat of where they're going with what this match is going to do. You have Randy Orton in the match, and you have Sheamus coming down to join guest commentary. Every time you have a guest commentator, you got to know that there's going to be some sort of interference. They don't really bring these guys down to do the commentary unless they're really setting up something and where they're going. But honestly, I had my sights set on what they were going to be doing with Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. You can think of the times that they've tried to be pushing people up the card, and Randy Orton have a match against them on Monday Night Raw, and then you never see them again elevated to that point. You can think of Mr. Kennedy getting fired from Monday Night Raw. I can't remember what year that was, 2009 maybe, or somewhere around there, or when they were trying to elevate Kofi Kingston into that main event spot, and him having a series of matches against Randy Orton where Kofi Kingston wrecked his race car and things like that. And it was one match on Monday Night Raw where Kofi Kingston messed up the RKO, and Randy Orton yelling at him in the ring how stupid he is, and from there, Kofi Kingston has never reached that spot ever again. He's been featured in some Monday Night Raw spots, but never. He's been featured in some Money in the Bank matches. That's what I'm trying to get at. I apologize. But, besides for that, he's never really been elevated to any, main event matches going after the WWE Championship. He's, Randy Orton sort of got this guy pegged down to where he's never going to be, reaching that spot, even though he's been there for a real long time. And he is a fan favorite with a lot of fans in WWE. But, that's what I was really looking forward to. See how the Owens match versus Orton went, and how Orton responded to what they had going on in the match. The match was a really, really good, fun match. As soon as they got down to the ring, Kevin Owens was doing what he does best, and that was jawing it out with Randy Orton, them going face-to-face inside of the ring. From there, we get to see a mix-up of them doing huge brawl spots, really just getting into it all around the ring. Orton and Owens took it down to the floor, and at this point is when Kevin Owens, basically was down and out. Randy was trying to guide him around the ring. They had done a spot with the ring post, and Sheamus, jumped up out of his ring announce chair and gave the huge brogue kick to Randy Orton, who wasn't paying attention to him at the outside. The ref called for the DQ. The match that Orton versus Owens had is hopefully going to be a match that, a foreseeable big sort of program that we'll see in the future on a Monday Night Raw, leading up into some sort of a pay-per-view. Owens lost a series of matches to John Cena. Where he goes from here, I'm really not sure. It seems like they're building up a series of matches, or at least a SummerSlam match against Cesaro to build some hope of guys in the mid-card that are hungry, that want to have good matches, that build them up into something. But, we've seen, Ziggler versus Sheamus in these matches, hopefully building to them getting some sort of a number one contenders match, or maybe getting into the Intercontinental title shot. I know that Sheamus has won the Money in the Bank, and he's now carrying that around, but you don't ever really hear any talks about Sheamus being moved up into that main card spot, so he's just sort of carrying around a briefcase where there's no plans of when he's going to use it, even though you got the whole year in order to do it. But Sheamus is bringing the attack to Orton inside of the ring, and from there, Cesaro comes running down to break up Sheamus, showing that, Cesaro and Sheamus don't really get along, so you're thinking maybe they're going to have some sort of a deal between the two of them, and then Cesaro goes, jumping right out of the ring, down onto Kevin Owens, bringing the fight to him, showing that this is really, where he wants his fight to be. From there, Owens rolls into the ring. Cesaro comes running at him to make another offensive move at him, but out of nowhere, Kevin Owens hits the, power bomb, the pop-up power bomb right there, and put all of the flames that Cesaro is throwing into the ring right there out. So my guess from where they're going from here is that SummerSlam we're going to be seeing Sheamus versus Randy Orton yet once again. That was being built off the last pay-per-view. And then we're going to see Kevin Owens go against Cesaro. But more than likely, probably on SmackDown, or maybe even on next week's Monday Night Raw, we'll see Cesaro and Orton tag up against Owens and Sheamus, and maybe that'll be one of the big main events they're hyping for Raw. But we'll have to see where they go, but that's where I think they're going from here. I'll be 100% honest with you. Tonight, when they named Owens versus Cena for the United States Championship as the main event for Monday Night Raw, I honestly will tell you that I thought this was going to be, no doubt in my mind, a count-out, a disqualification, the Authority, butting their heads into it. At the beginning of the show, we saw that Rollins and the Authority are still stuck like glue. They are still together, for the last, few weeks and last month. We've seen where it looked like, that Triple H and Stephanie had separated from Rollins, and Rollins was standing on his own. But tonight, to open the show, Rollins came down with the Authority, still buddy-buddy together. Even though that the Authority stuck Rollins in this match against Cena, that they were still going to have his back. So I honestly thought this was going to be a no finish, count out, disqualification, some sort of a cheap match. And what John Cena has been doing since he won the United States Championship from Rusev back at WrestleMania has really been elevating the matches for Monday Night Raw, the matches for SmackDown, and really giving you a purpose to watch his matches. Sometimes they will use his match or his segment in order to putting some people together. They've, cheapened it up a little bit by making some matches into tag matches, or, some matches into challenges for pay-per-views. But for the most part, week in and week out, Cena's gone out there and had one of the best matches of the night. And here it is. They had to live up to what Orton versus Kevin Owens was. And Cena and Rollins honestly really did deliver. They talked a whole bunch of game throughout the show, and they interviewed Cena in the back before it. And he was saying that he was one of the best ever, and he had to go out there and he had to prove it. He had to show that he really is what he believes that he is, and he has to show everybody that's why he is the main event. That's why he's the guy on the backpacks. That's why he's the guys on the t-shirts. He's the reason that kids come to see the show. Rollins was going out there to fight. He was hoping to become the double champion because the United States title was the one that was on the on the line tonight. They chose to put that one up there because it was a match to sort of make it where John Cena had to win. And Rollins wanted to become double champion so he could have a belt over each shoulder, much like Jay Lethal is in Ring of Honor. Throughout the match, John Cena took a horrific knee to the nose. At this point, his nose was pretty much busted open. No word if it was, just bloodied or if it's broken, but this was a stiff shot by Rollins. It's 100% accidental. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't think that he would really go out of the way to injure John Cena. That'd be a horrible spot to be in. But the fight must continue. I liked it how the referee gave Cena a second for the doctor to come over and try his best to patch it up and get the blood out of there. And it was Cena who brought the fight to Rollins. Rollins was getting pulled off by the ref, and Cena wanted the fight to continue because he felt that it should have. At one point, Rollins had control of this match, and he took Cena up to the top where he did a suplex off of the top. And the second they hit the mat, Rollins picked Cena up and delivered another suplex, which was, gone down for a 2 count. One thing led to another, and Cena was able to slap on the good old STFU right there in the middle of the ring, and Rollins tapped. We got a clean finish here on Monday Night Raw. No The Authority, no Big Show, no J&J Security, no Kane, nothing. Just Cena versus Rollins one-on-one. And Cena gets the win. He gets to show off that he's United States champion, but he has to go and he has to have a fight tomorrow night on the SmackDown tapings, so he has to show that he is the best there is. But this is one of those reasons why you're glad you watched the whole edition of Monday Night Raw. I will be 100% honest that during the second hour of Raw, leading up into the Owens versus Randy Orton match, I was getting a little bit dazed. I thought I was, falling asleep a little bit, but these last 2 matches really good. Put over the fact that I love wrestling, and we'll go from there. But big main event, Cena beats Rollins to retain the United States Championship, setting up setting up Cena going after Rollins' WWE World Heavyweight Championship come SummerSlam.